452-3046. That's our direct line number, 452-3046. But you can also get us at our WhatsApp number. Message in to 284-6001, 284-6001. You can also call in to that WhatsApp number, of course. I look back in time on this day, way back in the year 1184 BC on this day. The city of Troy was sacked and burned during the Trojan War, according to calculations by Eratosthenes. And, of course, that famous Helen of Troy story. And in the year 631 AD, Emperor Taozong of Tang sent envoys to the Sui Yan Tao bearing gold and silk for the release of Chinese prisoners captured on the northern frontier during the transition from the Sui to the Tang dynasty, and succeeded in freeing 80,000 prisoners. In the year 1776, on this day, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to draft the Declaration of Independence with Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston as members. More U.S. history here. In 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy said segregation was morally wrong and that it was time to act. 1987, on this day, Margaret Thatcher was the first British Prime Minister in 160 years to win a third consecutive term. 2009, on this day, the World Health Organization declared H1N1 swine flu to be a global pandemic, the first such incident in over 40 years. And in 2014, on this day, Islamic State forces seized control of government offices in Iraq and other important buildings in the northern city of Mosul. Now, you may not know it, but June the 15th, this coming Monday, is International Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And we're going to be speaking about that in just a bit with a representative. And he'll, of course, be telling us all about the upcoming event and its significance in just a bit. We now head across to our dish of the day.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program here at the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. And with me in studio is Mr. Robert Huggins, and he is from the Ministry of Equity now, dealing with the matter of senior citizens and their representation and interests. And we're seeing a changing demographic, the reality of a lot more persons who may be considered seniors at this point in time comes with its own challenges for those individuals. And to tell us about just that, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, globally observed on June the 15th. Mr. Huggins, thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, good day. Thanks, Alex. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having us here and giving us the opportunity to be able to talk about this. As you mentioned, the day itself started many years ago, 2006, I believe. And it essentially was a movement to bring to light some of the plights that the older persons would have suffered. And for a long time, it was something that was hidden in society. But, you know, there was a move to sort of bring that to light and to see what we can do to make a change and make life easier for persons of an older age. Now, you know, we're trying to use language a little differently nowadays. There's been a bit of a move to shift from using elderly because it seems the term feels like it's, you know, it's a little condescending, making them seem like they're frail and whatnot. Right. So generally we refer to persons in that age category as older persons. You know, and the oldest of them, we can call them the oldest old, basically. But the fact is, we are aging from the time we are born, right? And some of the issues that we are seeing now with the older persons, that's some of the issues we may face when we get there. So it's not, I mean, I don't want to encourage that we do it because we don't want to get that treatment when we get there. We should be doing it because, you know, it's the right thing to do. But we have to understand that, you know, karma hurts.
Right.
If we treat them bad now, we may suffer that same fate
Right.
in time to come.
You mean we've heard the phrase, of course, once a man, twice a child.
Yes, yes.
And getting into that period of time, I've seen quite a lot of situations where aged persons, senior citizens are dependent
Yes, very much
on
so.
their families for support, and it may be for a lot of different reasons, of course, financially, but physically as well. It's a challenge for them as well to even make that transition, to even accept that they can't do as much as they would have liked to have done before. Their independence is being impaired. I know there was a situation, for example, in the matter of driver's licenses and how old is too old to be on the road, right? And you see a lot of people who are 90 and they would certainly want to still be out there going to and from what they would normally have considered the norm for their day, their routine. And somebody's trying to tell them, no, you can't drive anymore. Your eyesight, you're this, you're that. It's a difficult period of transition to accept.
I'm glad
all of
you
that.
phrase it in the way that you phrase it, because it's sort of the way you talk about it. It leads to the idea that and that is a fact. Decisions we make in our youth impact how we live in our old age, right? And that's a life course approach that we're taking as well, because if you make better health choices, if you make better financial choices, and all these things, then by the time you reach that stage in your life, you may not need to be as dependent, because you would be healthier, more fit, more capable to be able to live or handle, manage on your own. That being said, you can make the best choices and things can
You're
still
all going to
happen,
get to that point
right?
at some point, whether you get to it at 70 or 80 or 90.
So it may just matter at what degree, how much of an impact it has, because we will decline, yes,
Right.
but we can slow that decline, or we can reduce the impact of that decline by making right choices. So at our age now, I'm not going to disclose to anybody, but from middle age thereabout and even earlier, you can start choosing to exercise, choosing to eat right. Even in our schools, the Ministry of Education can participate by encouraging, healthy options within the school, as we're banning sugary stuff and whatnot, and setting the right examples within there, so that they grow up with this culture and understanding of eating well, and they can carry that throughout their life. And therefore, you know what NCDs are? It stands for non-communicable diseases. We have a lot of people, I think, if my numbers are correct, I think 80% of the deaths, I'll have to verify that, but I think 80% of deaths in St. Lucia are connected to NCDs. That's 80% of deaths connected to things like diabetes and high blood pressure and cancers, etc. These are things that we can, especially diabetes, high blood, these are things that we can deal with through exercise and eating right, etc.
Now, I'm reading this note here. By 2050, the global population of people aged 60 and over will double to 2 billion people, with most living not in the rich countries, in low and middle income countries. Now, that's an interesting point that I think has to be made. And we're talking about this whole issue about, having wealth. A lot of times we hear about these countries having aging problems, and we think about Japan and Italy and maybe the United States and Canada, and they have very old populations.
Yeah.
But these countries have gone through a period where they've accumulated quite a lot of wealth, and there's some wealth
that is at risk now.
but that wealth is still around though. But compared to countries like St. Lucia, we've kind of jumped from this stage of having just a couple of decades ago we were talking about having too many births, right? And now we're talking about having too few births.
Yeah, some people are now blaming the Ministry of Health. You're all telling us to put on condoms and control ourselves. Now look at you all asking us to have babies. But yeah, you are absolutely right. Worldwide, there has been a decline in births, and there's a growing older population. I think it's only in Africa, certain countries in Africa, and I don't want to generalize Africa because Africa is massive, but there's certain countries, I think sub-Saharan Africa, that are that where the birth rates are actually
above replacement
exactly.
rates. We're above 2.1.
But throughout basically the rest of the world, Europe, America, Canada, Caribbean, etc., we're dealing with a situation where we don't have replacement rates. We don't have enough new bodies coming in to replace, and the fact is that we have people getting older. And these older persons are not working. They're receiving pension. And the other thing too is that whereas the age, the life expectancy, I think is somewhere it's like 70 for men, 78 for women. So I mean,
73 for women, I
some,
think. Or
yeah,
something.
there's some disparity. But it's women who live longer. But the reality is that while in general we are living longer, we're not living healthier. So in that last, let's say, 10 years of our life, we actually so dependent on medication, treatment, etc., and it's a burden on our health systems, right? So it's costing the country. I don't want to sound like,
it's costing the country the money that it doesn't really even have.
Yeah. So these are persons who are no longer contributing financially to the to our economic development, and they're costing us as well, and we don't have replacements for them. So even paying pensions, stuff like that, is difficult. So it's like an economic issue, right? But it's also an issue personally, because these people do not have to. They should not have to suffer at that stage, right? They could have, if more better choices, financial planning, eating right, all of these things were done better at earlier stages, they could have lived better lives at that stage in their life. And this is why now they are at risk of abuse. And one of the most common times is actually financial abuse, where people will come then and cause them to sign documents or stuff, when they're unaware, and they, without knowing it, they're giving up their access to their money, they're giving up their land, all the things that they own, and then when they're done, they come and they tell them, well, you need to get out of the house.
Powers of attorney signed off. And,
So, I mean, there are lots of different types of this. So that's one. That's a very common one. And I'm so
I mean, I remember some years ago interacting with a gentleman who came back from Cayenne, I think it was. And he returned, I think he was an octogenarian for sure, and may have been even older. I can't remember his exact age. And he had a real situation where he was a legitimate owner of a parcel, I think, family land type of situation, but he would have been one of the persons who had most rights to it, if you like. And he couldn't access that land because the individuals who were there now living there, maybe his grand and great-grand nieces or nephews, didn't want him around. Hey, who's this man who's just returned and who's trying to take, come back onto this property? And so you see a lot of these situations manifesting in different ways in our society in terms of, as you rightfully said, financial abuse of these individuals and exploitation as well. No longer being able to necessarily, let's say, go to the bank or to interact in such ways. And
some
so a lot of them
physically unable to do so.
Some of them would have physically gone into the bank. They can no longer do so, and they're now depending on others to do it for them. And so, of course, you see the challenges there. And lots of other abuse as well, physical abuse.
Yeah, we're well aware of the physical. And it's so sad to say, but yes, that's the reality, where people are beaten by family, by strangers. There's a common thing, a thing that seems to be occurring with more frequency now is, persons presenting with dementia, Alzheimer's. And in that, there's one of the things that they wonder a lot. They tend to do so. And
we used to call it dweeb before. Yes.
And now we find that they are out there and their behavior is misunderstood. And people out there are taking advantage, beating them, causing
Don't
them
come on my property. That kind of
causing them serious harm. And aside from that aspect, we have people who literally have persons at home and are not caring for them, beating them sometimes, not feeding them, not bathing them, not caring for them. They're literally lying in their wastes and whatnot. Another aspect, and I want to speak a little bit about neglect, and I want to focus on men a little bit as well, as Father's Day is coming up soon. One issue we find, the first is that men are not good at health-seeking behaviors. So we already find that by the time they reach that stage in life, they will not present for care until it's
really severe.
Right?
Yes,
So now they are suffering in that later stage of life. So that's one aspect. Men, please do the preventative checks. The other thing too is that we like to, let me not say we before I get in trouble. Some men like to sow their oats, right? But they generally don't participate in family life. So what happens now is this man might have 5 children, more, but no relationship with any of them. Now when because he didn't take care of himself, is at a stage where he needs care, none of the children want to provide care. He was not there for me, he never took care, he was never there, he didn't do anything for me. I'm not helping him. So this man now finds himself in the care of some public facility or whatnot because there's none of his family, nobody, and even though they may be well-to-do persons, they want absolutely nothing to do with them. So I'm just saying, gentlemen, I'm not trying to motivate you on that selfish part to say I'm doing it because I want them to take care of me, but be aware of what your decisions and your lack of participation in your family life can lead to and where it can end up. Because a lot of men are in homes just abandoned, neglected.
Very important day indeed to raise awareness of this as not just for individuals there, but I mean, you mentioned it a little while ago. You don't want to end up in that situation.
Exactly.
And we don't have any control invariably as
the reality is we all aging.
You don't know what can come, but there are hopefully some things that you might try to do to provide for better disposition and possibility moving forward. It is, of course, a human rights issue.
Yes.
And I think we need to acknowledge that. How are you trying to besides, of course, programs like this, how else are you trying to reach individuals, reach carers, reach families?
So here's the beauty of it.
One
thing I think that we can say is that the government has definitely recognized that there is a concern. The very fact that our unit was even created to be a focal point for issues related to older persons, that in itself shows that, we've taken a position to address the issues, right? The other thing is that we have developed the national policy for older persons. We're hoping we've submitted, we prepared our cabinet memo. We're at a stage where we're ready to submit. We hope to have that passed as soon as possible, right? So that policy now will provide framework for us to be able to address those issues and empower older persons. The key thing here is allowing a platform for older persons to be a part of the decision making. So it's not me, whatever age my category I'm in, or a younger person coming and saying this is what they need, but having them actively participating. They say, look, I am there. This is what we need. These are decisions. So they can participate in disaster management, whatever it is. They'll be involved in that, right? So that platform will be created to allow them to participate, and from there we can move the needle according to where they think we should move first, right?
I want to talk a little bit about the matter you touched on a little bit earlier, and the need for, in some countries it would be called maybe estate planning. Having a will is one aspect, but many will tell you that is something that it's after the fact. That's after you pass it then gets activated. But for the need as well to put in place other measures, like say the matter of a power of attorney, or these automatic power of attorneys which kick in the event of incapacity. A lot of times people get caught in a situation where they've found some major issue, they've gotten some health issue, maybe dementia, maybe a stroke, whatever it is, and can no longer take care of their affairs. It kind of gets tricky sometimes for families in that way. And
the reality is, while we can plan and make our best effort to be a healthy eater and whatever, there's just some things that
you don't know. You don't know.
So a cancer may come out of nowhere, right? An accident, any of these things can happen. So you're right. It's good from early on. So simple things like proper financial planning, a retirement plan. Where does your money go? How is it managed? These things. So like you said, preparing your next of kin who has the power of attorney, etc. Your will, having a lawyer draft up documents to specify who or what has access to your assets. All of these things beforehand, because the issue is at the time when it comes where you need it, you're probably not in a position to be able to properly articulate or do what you need to do. So there's some level
then somebody needs to step in on your behalf.
And that person may not come with the best of intentions when they step in, right? And that's what we're seeing a lot of. We're seeing people coming in and recognizing an opportunity. I'm doing air quotes on the radio, I apologize. Recognizing an opportunity and coming in to take that position, but using it as a way to take advantage and get for themselves, right?
It's interesting you're making that point, because you can talk about financial planning, and many people will say, well, okay, you need to put a pension in place, you need to have insurance. But even that could be potentially abused.
Yes, it can.
The whole matter of pension theft,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, I feel like if you have a good legal advisor, they'll be able to give you your options to be able to see how you can mitigate your risks in that respect. But not that being said, it's still good to do all levels of planning that you can in preparation for old age. I think a lot of us figure we'll work until old age and then just live off our NIC. But then they never take the time to calculate what that will actually be and how that will impact their daily life, because it's going to be significantly less than you have now.
Yeah.
Then we have a lot of people in that are non-contributory. They do not contribute to NIC. So they have no plan. This is why we see so many persons who work, jobs like security, or they're in the market for how long. Is because they have no plan B. There's nothing.
They need to continue to be
They
employed.
have to work to survive. So no plan was made. So we get, sometimes you speak to like a farmer, laborer, whatever, and you ask them about making these contributions, and they tell you you're not making any sense. They give you some story on whatever it is, but they don't see what the future can hold and how that will impact them then.
Yeah, that sounds scary when you look at it on a big scale, on a large scale. That it if you consider the number of people who may not have been contributaries and what happens to them in the long run. In a number of instances, they may end up in institutions if they're fortunate.
They can end up in and the reality of the institutions is that there's very limited space.
Right.
So we have a few private institutions where you can pay for space, so and they're lovely, and we have a number of institutions that are run by NGOs, non-profits.
So as of now, in the public space, is it just simply Comfort Bay?
Yes, for now.
Okay.
We have hope to bring more in soon. We are looking into daycares. Right. Because
I know there's an effort to do a daycare center. Well, there's one, I think, in the Leclerc area.
There is one in that. That is run by the National Council for older persons. And there's one in Montrouge as well.
I think I heard of one for Soufriere coming up.
There's one plan for Soufriere. I think there's another one being planned in another area. So there are plans for more coming up. And I like daycares for a number of reasons. But primarily it allows you to have a safe space to send the older person while you are at work, because that may be the restriction there. But it still allows them to come home and be part of the family life. So you're not getting rid of them, send them to home and visit them every now and then. They're still home and part of family life, but they have a safe space to be taken care of, to socialize. That's another thing. Can you imagine you as an older person kind of stuck in your home because of mobility issues maybe, and you just bored?
In as much as we're speaking about our own challenges within it, and I mean, obviously we want to talk about the risk of elder abuse. I mean, this is what the whole day is about. But there is undoubtedly a global economic opportunity, so to speak, in respect of care for seniors. I mean, I'm seeing about homes and assisted care facilities, people leaving Europe and going as far as Thailand because they want to be able to have a good quality of care, and they say that people there are friendly and caring, and there are a lot of facilities popping up providing that kind of support. And then you also hear of the numerous St. Lucians who head across to the United States and Canada, and a lot of them are in this industry, so to speak, of care. Of providing support for individuals out there. So there seems to be something that
you are right.
We perhaps should be tapping into in some degree.
So the thing is, we actually have a lot of people coming forward talking about their intent or their desire to open up a home or a daycare. So we know that's happening. We know that it's going to expand, and that's wonderful. Right, we've already started the process of working on developing standards for care.
That was coming to my next question.
So we have already started with the Bureau of Standards. The process is ongoing. So once we have that, then we can. So health already has their standards for the medical aspect. This one is going to focus more on like the standards of for
care.
Yeah, for care within there. It will talk about what spacing should be like if you have a home, how much space, zero threshold. Basically meaning that you have a few steps. You want to
like
have flat
washrooms,
exactly.
You can just walk
handrails, non-slip tiles, just having these types of things. So providing an opportunity. So we want to establish those standards, and we're working on that already. But like I said, there's an increasing demand. There are people coming forward and saying they want and asking us what is needed. So we're informing them, yes, we're working on the standards, and we will have. There's an international standard being developed, and we want to borrow from that because it speaks very clearly. But yes, that opportunity.
I mean, you already, of course, have lots of solutions in the diaspora. They want to retire home, right? They want to come home, and a lot of them build these massive homes and whatnot.
I would love to see a nice retirement community develop.
And I was thinking that you have places like South Florida, for example. That's one of the things they've specialized in. Montserrat, I think, once upon a time before the volcano, was a sort of a retirement island of sorts. So certainly the opportunities there.
Yeah, that's a vision. I would really love to see a retirement where people the independent living, right? But we provide the resources or the things that they need to be able to live comfortably in that area.
Right, within that area.
So they might have, medical shops, medical centers, that kind of thing within that community. Yeah. But they live on their own. But they have access to the care if they need it, because just because we're getting older doesn't mean we want to lose our independence or we want to feel like we're children and there's still that a lot of stuff that we want to do. We want to go out and socialize. We want to lime, all these types of things. We want to be able to allow them an opportunity to be able to do so, which comes to the next thing, developing safe spaces in general, just around the island. So in our parks, our roadways, having proper sidewalks and these kind of things so that they can navigate and be able to go and visit.
Curbs, how high the curbs are.
So allowing them to be able to go, let's say, the Recorgan Square, what's the one that's just there?
Park, Serenity Park.
Serenity, or whatever is in the community, and have that as a safe space for them to gather, play some dominoes, checkers, whatever, have some dances, and they can have a western outside, something like that. Barbados had a lovely thing. I think it's once a month they did it. I can't remember what it's called right now, but basically they have this big outdoor party, and it attracts a lot of older persons.
Right.
To come out and just sort of
socialize. Is it something in the Queen's Park? I think it is. I think there's something they have.
I think it may have moved around a bit, and it was a big thing.
But you see some scenes coming out of China, for example. I think was it the sort of yoga Falun Gong? Is it this movement of exercise?
So the whole idea is keep them moving.
keep
their mind active, keep their body active.
Keep walking is not just a whiskey, right?
The goal is healthy, active aging.
And it's really telling that you're bringing in all of these points, because in as much as we're talking about elder abuse, it's all about how can you prevent it? How can you be
what are the things you can put in place? And then even then, as a general society, we shouldn't be blind to it, right? If we see something, we should say something as well. We should stand up for the people. And a lot of times think about the persons we may have in our community that we just pass by daily and not even take on. Even just stopping for a second and having a conversation, hey, how you doing? That can be a big thing. You can understand some of the challenges and help them.
The engagement, and I'm glad that you're raising that point, the need for greater avenues for that generation to keep engaged. The idea that, you get retired and you just stay at home, programming to keep them engaged, that being very important as well.
That's a key aspect in what we're doing. Like I just mentioned earlier,
intergenerational exchanges.
If we're able to develop healthy or safe spaces for them to gather, age-friendly spaces, where they can feel safe and comfortable going to and hanging out and being able to come from, then we can promote that sort of activity. So they can gather, they can, have conversations, not feel... Because one of the parts of abuse as well is emotional and psychological. And a part of that can be that isolation or being separated, right? Where you keep them in a state where they cannot access the interaction. And
I want to speak about another issue, and as you're talking about access, and that is the matter of digital access, perhaps, as well. I mean, quite often there's this idea, mom is too old to figure out having a phone, and or don't bother trying to, so the need to ensure that these individuals can still be connected, and as well in a sort of responsible way, because I know that's the other part of the challenge, that a lot of them are meeting up with this digital space, this digital realm, and they end up getting a lot of abuse there too, in terms of scams, and people trying to rip them off and steal their money. We've seen a lot of movies about that. So your take.
So when we were doing our consultations for the policy, one of the things that's being raised by the older persons who were there representing, they were saying that we might be a little slower in adopting the technology, but we can do it. You know, when we get the cell phone the first time, it takes us, we have to ask questions or whatever. Be patient, or we will get it. We will use it. So they can adopt the technology. They can be part of it, as opposed to younger persons who they're born into it. So it's a little more natural, right? But don't dismiss them. They can participate. They can learn it, and they can use it very well, right? We have to provide them with the opportunities. And then I think, too, is that there is an opportunity for older persons at post-retirement to learn new skills, to develop their capacity. They might learn computer skills, they might learn anything else, whatever. And they can, you know, turn that into new business opportunities, or just, you know, use it as an opportunity to better their life in some ways as well. But we're not going to discount them whatever. In fact, when we did our digital expansion discussions through in Ministry of Health, we were talking about that aspect, how we can expand these opportunities and make life easier. Because another challenge too is that some of our services are sort of spread out. If we provide the opportunity for like a digital platform, so you know, sometimes you have to go and get this certificated, to get that you have to go to this ministry, so how much walking back and forth. You know, as an older person, that's difficult. Our sidewalks are not the best. We have very little shade. They can't regulate their temperature as well, so they're overheating. So if they can have an opportunity to be able to sit at their phone or computer and be able to do what they need to do, one, it prevents abuse because they can manage for themselves what they need to do without having to leave the house. And two, it gives them access to be able to get what they need done without having to go and suffer whatever challenges may be going back and forth. So yeah, we need to include them. We need to provide avenues for them to be a part of it and to learn and to use those platforms to better themselves.
And in terms of the whole issue about Club 60, so to speak, I'm calling it Club 60, everybody over 60, so to speak, being that kind of mark, the ability for them to benefit from, you know, support from the state. I mean, for example, I know in Barbados, it used to be that way, I don't know if it still is, but you're over 60 and you can ride the public transport system for free. So those kinds of benefits built into the government, across the government,
So
is that something
our
that
public transition is private, unfortunately. But I know we had started discussions.
well, not necessarily about the the
but
buses,
I know, but
I'm
that was a good example because
Yeah.
we had actually started some discussion with some of the associations, and the feedback was very positive in terms of wanting to contribute a service similar to that. So I'm not saying that is something that is definitely coming on stream, but it is something we are exploring as one
like a senior
option.
card, maybe
Yes,
you could get some,
exactly, because NIC already provides a
Right,
gold
gold
card.
card,
So it
yes.
may be as simple as you know, just adopting the usage of that and saying, you know, once they present that, then they can get access and see what we can do. But you are correct. We are exploring what things that we can do, what little benefits we can add for that population to make life easier for them to be able to navigate the world and to be able to continue to live and be happy as they age.
Perhaps one of my final questions is on the legal matter, the legal space for seniors as it is. We have a very clear definition in law quite often that protects children. You know, you're under the age of 18, you're a child, you're a minor, there's certain things that you are protected from, there's certain things that you are mandated to have access to, whether it's education, whether, you know, you can't drink alcohol, your parents will be potentially charged if they don't take care of you and your needs. That other end of it now, as we're talking about twice a child, you know, it's not so clear if your family doesn't take care of you and you suffer from neglect. Is it? I mean, how does that work out?
Very happy you brought that up. So I spoke earlier about the national policy. And in a cabinet memo went through the policy, it actually calls for a legal review to be done. And that review should identify what gaps exist and make recommendations for what laws should be instilled or amended for us to be able to provide those very protections. So we may see the birth of filial laws, which basically speak to a child now having responsibility for the care of their elders, right? So I don't know what will develop because, like I said, it calls for that review, and once that review is done, they will make the recommendations in identifying what gaps exist and what we can do to strengthen, etc. There's a lot that we plan coming out of that as well, because aside from that legal review, we also want to do bring on a geriatrician, if possible, a consultant who can review our health systems to see how we can modify them to be more responsive to the needs of an older population as well. So one thing I can say is the policy itself is pretty broad and includes a lot of areas that once passed should bring about relief or lead to the development of ideas and a way forward to bring relief for older persons.
Well, good stuff. And we're hearing we want to become a blue zone here in St. Lucia. I think yesterday, I saw 2 individuals celebrating their birthdays. One was 103 and the other was 107.
Yeah,
both women.
We're living longer.
And you're seeing quite a lot of impressive ages coming up there. And I mean, when you look at it in a population of our size, I mean, just yesterday as well, I think I noticed the eldest woman in Ireland that died at 109. So 107, and the ages that we're talking about, they are pretty impressive. That idea, of course, of us living longer also means that we have to hopefully ensure that we can live enjoyable lives, free from abuse. And so, of course, we definitely want to thank Mr. Robert Huggins of the Ministry of Equity. Robert, I didn't think I put down your proper title. You may want to tell us.
I'm the Director, Division of Older Persons.
Director of Division of Older Persons, for coming in and for telling us about that. And let's speak a little bit about interventions, though, before we end, because there may be persons who are listening to this, and as you rightfully said, a lot of those older persons, they can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't know.
If you see something, you can reach
They may be
out.
suffering from dementia.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues that they have. How, if you know of a situation of abuse right now, you want to reach out, who do you reach out to?
So you can reach out to the police in general, but specifically within them, they have the vulnerable persons team, who deals with, special type of cases and whatnot. And you can reach out to them. Their number is 456-4051 or 456-4050. I think they have a cell phone number as well, 286-9484. They will be able to provide support, but in general, if you see somebody, like let's say somebody wandering, you think they may have dementia, whatever, you can go to the nearest station or bring them to the nearest station and say you've seen this person and provide that support as well. So if you don't remember the number or can't remember the team itself, you can speak generally to the police. We have the Division of Human Services who provides, care in general for basically throughout the life course, for young persons, adults, older persons, etc. And you can reach out to them as well.
Any abuse situation.
Pretty much, yeah. You can reach out to them they're at 468-5108 or 485-2126. They have a Viewfort office as well, which is 454-3083 or 454-9351. And they can provide that level. So there's supposed to be social workers throughout the island for almost every community. And they can provide that support in terms of helping to guide or direct to where the resources may be to get that help.
And I would definitely welcome you to come back in, Robert, because there's a lot of, as you're saying, it's population. You're seeing more cases of it. You're seeing more cases of individuals who may have suffered strokes, may be suffering from dementia, and they may be bedridden, and there's a lot of other challenges there in terms of families having to deal with these types of situations and not knowing what to expect in that evolution, so to speak, And I know for a lot of people in the cases of dementia, they can't deal with the fact that daddy can't remember who I am anymore, or they have lots of challenges, and the people themselves also have challenges. Maybe you may just want to mention a little bit about the challenges of sometimes they get more aggressive.
Yeah,
they don't know. It's not anything, but their behavior becomes somewhat erratic.
So it's funny because we started a discussion, and there's an association locally that deals with like dementia, Alzheimer's. They do a lot of educational stuff and some training, and we had a dialogue with them to see how we can support and expand their reach. So it is the plan. We had a discussion about doing it because education, awareness, that's a main thing. There are just a lot of people who don't understand what it is and how it impacts the individual or how it impacts them, right? So we want to be able to provide that avenue for information,
Right.
and then use that as a stepping stone for us to go forward and provide specific training in the specific areas to the carers or even persons at home who have somebody. The other aspect is about developing or introducing devices, technology that can provide. So it could be as simple as like kids have these bracelets that have trackers in them. We can have similar things for the older
Right.
people, because wandering, like I said, is
Yeah.
a common thing with dementia.
You're right.
So if they have that tracker and you realize, because you can watch them as good as you want to, but they will still slip past you when you blink your eye, right? So at least if you have that, you can say, well, okay, I can just pull up my phone and see where they are, and you can find them in 5 minutes and whatnot, right? So it's about how do we provide the avenue or the resources to be able to assist with these individuals to be able to manage, right? Not just in training and talk, but in practical devices or tools or whatever that they can use to help that as well. And that conversation has started, and we are working diligently to be able to realize that as well.
Fantastic.
One final thing,
Yes.
on Monday for our
Right.
observation, we want to celebrate by wearing purple or a touch of purple. So if you have that, please. And you can take a picture of yourself in your purple, or if you have an older person around you want to take a picture with their consent,
Purple is one of
obviously.
these difficult colors to.
That's
there's
why I
so
say
many
a
different shades.
a touch of purple is fine. And if you have an older person around you with their consent, you can take a selfie with them
Okay.
and post it to any social media platform using the hashtag WEAD SLU 2026. WEAD is WEAAD.
World Elder
The World
Abuse
Elder
Awareness
Abuse
Day.
Awareness Day, SLU 2026. So we'll be able to see that in the social media in support of older persons and against, because the theme this year is about bringing. We've done a lot for awareness. Now it's about action, right? We are aware that it exists. We are aware it's out there. Now let us actually take steps and action towards ending and bringing an end to the abuse.
I know we said we were going to stop, but one final question from me as well. The home help program.
Yes.
This is one of the programs I don't think exists in very many Caribbean countries even. And perhaps a lot of countries around the world don't have a similar kind of, senior care outreach type arrangement. I could be wrong, but I haven't really heard too many of them out there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure myself, to be honest.
Yeah, but it seems it was a really interesting program nonetheless, right?
It's a lovely program.
When you consider what it's actually doing, it's reaching out to people. And my question, though, as well, it comes back to the issue you raised early on about the standards and the follow-up, and because we are dealing with human beings, and carers are, ultimately being placed in difficult situations. They got to be in physical situations. They're dealing with people who have their own emotions, and how is there anything in terms of them and helping them in particular?
The staff at the program themselves, they do a very good job in terms of managing their staff and their outcomes and whatnot. When we develop our standards, that'll just be another tool that they can use to be able to measure and assess the work that they're doing. One of the advantages of having our unit now is that our main role is support. So when they have challenges and they need specific training, resources, whatever it is, that's where we come in. It's so they can identify and say something. We can come forward and say, look, we will find that expert to train. We will find these resources for you, etc., to develop. So it'll be collaborative, and it's never a situation where they'll be left alone, and we can learn from them as well towards strengthening that program and making it the best that it can be. So if there is another in the world, we can be even better than theirs.
Yeah, and then I guess you become a best practice, and then you
Exactly.
can potentially even share your experiences worldwide. Definitely, it's been a very engaging and wonderful conversation. Mr. Robert Huggins, the director of the division, the unit for older persons in the Ministry of Equity. And of course, we are marking World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, June the 15th. You're being asked to wear a color of pink, indigo, whatever it's color, purple. Sorry. Hope men are colorblind, right? So hope you can get that right shade out there, of course, and show some love to somebody who's a senior an elder in your community, in your family, and definitely show some love on that day to those individuals. Rocky, Mr. Huggins, thank you. I was trying very hard, and I messed up at the end. Well, Mr. Huggins, thanks so very much for coming in
It's a pleasure.
to share,
Thank you.
of course. And that has been our dish of the day.
This has been The Daily Dish.
I want to have that there for our records.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news. Number one FM.
At Magico, insurance has never been just about policies. It's about people. It's why generations of our customers place their trust and valued assets with us, and why AM Best rated us A- excellent for financial strength. From helping families recover to standing strong in the communities we serve, we've always cared and always will. Magico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there. Now rated excellent.
The summer of sports is almost here, and Massey Stores Home has all you need to upgrade your game day. Enjoy up to 35% off on select televisions, appliances, furniture, and more. Perfect for Father's Day. Swipe your Massey card. With every $500 spent, get a chance to win some incredible Samsung prizes like a Samsung 65-inch 4K Smart TV and recliner combo, or a Samsung 65-inch 4K Smart TV. So don't just watch the games, celebrate Dad as well. Visit Massey Stores Home today.
101, number one. This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
Welcome to the weather forecast update for 12 noon, 11th of June 2026. And the forecast for St. Lucia, valid for the next 24 hours. Winds will be blowing from the east near 21 miles per hour, 33 kilometers per hour. The weather fair, breezy, and hazy, becoming cloudy at times with a few showers. There are no advisories at the moment. The marine forecast for seas in a 25-mile or 40-kilometer radius from St. Lucia. Tides forecast trees high at 1:24 p.m., low at 5:43 p.m. Tides for VA4 Bay high at 2:31 p.m. and low at 7:10 p.m. In terms of sea conditions, moderate to locally rough. Wave heights up to 7 feet or 2.1 meters. Advisory in terms of small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to note that they're above normal seas and brisk winds. The forecast for the Les Antilles, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms over the southern Windward Islands. Elsewhere, fair, breezy, and hazy, becoming cloudy at times with a few showers. And the tropical weather outlook. The Atlantic high-pressure system will maintain moderate to brisk easterly winds and stable conditions over the northern Windward Islands and leewards. The Atlantic high-pressure system will maintain moderate to brisk easterly winds and stable conditions over the northern Windward and Leeward Islands during the next 24 hours. A tropical wave is producing cloudy periods with scattered showers over the southern portion of the region. A second tropical wave located over the central tropical Atlantic is moving westward near 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. A third tropical wave has emerged off the coast of Africa and is moving slowly westward. Tropical cyclone formation is not expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 7 days. And that was prepared by forecaster Mr. Lucius Frederick of the St. Lucia Meteorological Services in, well, I think down in J4 at the moment. That's our update from the St. Lucia Met Services.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. We only have a few minutes to go in the program. Of course, we've been speaking to Mr. Robert Huggins of the Ministry of Equity, the unit responsible for older persons, and of course their efforts at bringing awareness to the life and condition of our seniors in society. And of course, it's not always a bed of roses, becoming older and raising the awareness that we do need to show a lot of care and education in respect of support for our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, other family members who are senior to us. Now, of course, if you want to call in a few minutes that we actually have, not very much time, the number to do so is 452-3046, 452-3046. And our WhatsApp number, that is 284-6001, 284-6001. Of course, one of the matters very topical right about now is energy. And we've been hearing quite a bit about the cost of energy, whether it's at the pump and whether it is on switching on your lights at home, your electricity costs, and many are looking at that matter. And there's been a big debate as to, where's the price higher and who's paying more and what have you. But interesting enough, the country that has the lowest electricity price in the world, guess what? It's Iran. Iran has the lowest electricity price in the world. It is actually less than a cent per kilowatt hour. Let's take in a call at this time. Good afternoon. Welcome to the lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Hey, Sir Calixte, good afternoon.
Hi.
Sir Calixte Jr.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. Just a question concerning the older persons. To me, there was a program established, I think, by the Ministry of Equity called Public Assistance Program or something like that.
Oh, yes, that's a very long-standing program, yes, not necessarily to take care of older persons only. A lot of older persons benefit from it, but it's a general program to support individuals who may be indigent, who may have other reasons why they cannot support themselves. So,
okay.
Yes, but a lot of older persons are on the beneficiary list.
Okay. So where is that department located? I remember it used to be, it was located in the in that building next to the Anglican.
Right. I think from my recollection, it's on Trinity Church Road.
Uh-huh.
Right. I think.
But I think sometime last year or so, they relocated, I
Oh.
think, to one of the government buildings, but I am not too sure exactly which one of them.
Okay, wasn't aware of that either, so I will have to try to find out for you. Or you may have to
Okay.
call the Ministry of Equity. The Ministry of Equity would be able to tell you exactly where that office is as well, which is on the 4th floor of the Graham Louisi building. They, of course, would have been responsible for that program, as you rightfully said earlier on.
Graham
The
Louisi Administrative Building
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
on the 4th floor.
Yes.
Okay.
They would
All right, then.
definitely know how to. I mean, it may very well have relocated to that office if you're saying that they're no longer up at Trinity Church Road.
It's been a while. So must have been sometime last year.
Okay.
They relocated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much.
All right. No problem. Definitely. Take care. All the best.
All right.
And we don't have very much time left on here. About a minute to go, I think, before we have to tune out for the day. But yes, as I was saying, the price of energy, the lowest price of energy is in Iran. And of course, quite often, countries that are oil producers, they tend to provide even subsidized prices. Of course, they can produce very cheap power from gas burning power plants, and they're able to do so pretty effectively. Of course, you come across to our reality as a small island state, and we are in the vicinity of the high end of the spectrum. Certainly, and the list that I'm looking at doesn't actually have St. Lucia on it, but we're not too far off. Barbados, for example, being at 31 cents, US cents per kilowatt hour. The Bahamas even higher, 34 cents. The Cayman Islands even higher, 41 cents. In fact, it is an island state that is the highest in the world, and that is Bermuda. Of course, a British overseas territory. The cost of a residential average cost of electricity there is around 47 US cents. So you get a good idea as to what they're talking about in terms of those areas. Of course, some may argue that, well, that's the challenge of Bermuda, very high salaries over there. They may be able to afford it. But it is somewhat, comparative when you look at a lot of small states, small island developing states. You'll find that their energy costs are going to be high, particularly because they have to import diesel in most instances to be able to generate their electricity. So certainly the need to wean off that dependence on diesel and to look towards other renewable sources is not always necessarily going to be cheaper immediately, because, of course, these require significant capital investments. But in the long run, I think would be beneficial to the country and to countries like ours. That's our program for today, and we do hope that you can join us tomorrow, Friday, for another program of the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. Take care.
101 number 1 FM.
The stage is set for an exciting weekend of football as the Blackheart SLFA Under-20 Knockout Football Tournament moves into the quarterfinals. 8 teams remain in the hunt for championship glory. This Saturday, June 6th, at the Soufriere Mini Stadium at 7 p.m., it's a clash of 2 tournament heavyweights as Marbuia Valley takes on Leclerc. Then at 9 p.m., Northern Power meets Eastern Pride when Groselet battles Dennery. The action continues on Sunday, June 7th. At 7 p.m., South Castries faces off against Viewfort South in what promises to be a thrilling encounter. Then at 9 p.m., hosts Soufriere go head-to-head with Canrees in a blockbuster Southwest Derby. Who will book their place in the semifinals? Come out and support the future stars of St. Lucian football. The 2026 Blackheart SLFA U20 Knockout Football Tournament, where future legends rise.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home. Really? Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle-dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my #1 store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
A company that you can trust withstood the test of time. Providing the best quality so you can have peace of mind. Building the community one day at a time. In the products that we offer, you guarantee to find strength and security and affordability for the latest technology. You can count on Caribbean Metals. You covered. Caribbean Metals, better value for your money. Caribbean Metals, satisfaction guaranteed. Caribbean Metals, you know we've got you covered. Guaranteed.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Friendly staff there to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load. With tropical shipping, so we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with tropical. I can't wait. No package too big, too small. I cannot wait to ship with tropical. No package too big, too small. Just ship with tropical.
Who thinks more is better than less? Okay, why?
More is better than less because if stuff is not if there's less stuff, then you might want to have some more, and your parents just don't let you because there's only a little bit.
Right.
We want more. We want more. Like, you really like it. You want more.
And now, more of the music you love.
Who thinks more is better than less? Okay, why?
More is better than less because if stuff is not if there's less stuff, then you might want to have some more, and your parents just don't let you because there's only a little bit.
Right.
We want more. We want more. Like, you really like it. You want more.
And now, more of the music you love. The Caribbean Sound, 101, number 1. In St. Lucia, one station appreciates its listeners more than the rest.
Thank you. Far too kind.
It's RCI, the Caribbean Sound, 101.1.
This is the story, ladies and gentlemen, about two lovely white women traveling all the way to Africa. Found themselves deep in the heart of the Baluba in the Congo. In the hands of my big brother, Oomba. Had it been me, I would have taken them back to their husband. But brother was hungry. Two white women traveling through Africa. Find themselves in the hands of a cannibal headhunter. He cook up one and eat one raw. Them taste so good, he wanted more. Me want more. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me, I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset.